Up to the sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you check out the website, catchhookshoot.com, and make sure you're following on all social media. It's at catchhookshoot on all platforms. If you go to patreon.com/catchhookshoot, you can find all your bonus content and sign up for all kinds of benefits on the 4 different tiers we've got over there. Make sure to subscribe to twitch.tv/catchhookshoot, where I do occasional watch parties and stuff like that. Again, follow on social media, and you'll be able to get the information on when those are taking place. Head to prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot for all your t-shirt needs, and you can find all of that and much more on our Linktree, which is linktree/catchhookshoot, or you can scan this little QR code right here in the corner of your screen if you're watching on YouTube. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So, all kinds of stuff going on in the world of pro wrestling this week, so let's get right into it, starting everything off, like always, with the match of the week. Alright, so this week's match of the week is from AEW Dynamite. This past Wednesday, it was the TNT Championship match between Darby Allin and Matt Hardy. And this was basically a no-holds-barred, falls count anywhere type of match. Had a lot of run-ins and stuff like that. We saw the Hardy family office, not surprisingly, the Dark Order, Sting, Lance Archer, all these guys got involved in the match in some form or another. And the end of the match, we actually saw Darby Allin hit the coffin drop from the staging behind the announce desk on top of Matt Hardy, making Matt Hardy the first person to go through the AEW announcer's desk, which is a interesting little bit of trivia there. But this was just an awesome match between these two guys. They both looked fantastic in it. Darby Allin did retain the championship, which I don't think was really a surprise to anybody. But if you're only going to watch one match this week, definitely make it Darby Allin versus Matt Hardy for the TNT Championship from AEW Dynamite. Just an awesome match, great main event for the show. And this was AEW's first night going unopposed on Wednesdays since NXT has moved to Tuesday, and they actually averaged well over 1 million viewers for the night. So definitely congratulations and kudos to AEW. So let's keep moving right along here into my top 3 highlights of the week, and that is called the 3 count. Number 1 on the 3 count this week, Alexa's Playground from Monday Night Raw. This was the first time we heard from Alexa since basically turning on The Fiend at WrestleMania, and she pretty much said what I had been saying, saying she doesn't need The Fiend, she can do it all on her own. That kind of stuff, basically she's the one in control now, exactly what I've been saying. And she also introduced us to a new friend, a creepy looking doll named Lily, apparently. I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. Is Lily going to be Alexa's alter ego, kind of like what the Fiend is to Bray Wyatt? We also saw the Firefly Funhouse for the first time in a while, with Bray Wyatt kind of, mentioning that Alexa's gone, and some of the puppets saying they miss her and that kind of thing, and Bray saying that he's basically reborn, more or less. So obviously they're going to continue this storyline with Alexa and The Fiend, which still the best thing going on Raw right now. I'm loving it, so I can't wait to see where it's going to go. Number 2 on the 3 count, Mike Tyson was the special guest referee for Chris Jericho versus Dax Harwood on AEW Dynamite, and he basically at the end of the match, knocked out Cash Wheeler at ringside. Just one punch and bam, went down. Another very good match from Dynamite between these two guys, and with Tyson as the special enforcer outside the ring, I think just added something to it. He wasn't all over the place, all involved in the match, being the center of attention or anything like that, which I thought was very cool. He was just there doing his job, was impartial until, somebody got physical with him and then knocked Wheeler on his ass, which was a pretty cool spot. And number 3 on the 3 count, WWE again with their spring cleaning, quote unquote, a lot of releases this week. Not as many as last year, but on the exact same date too, April 15th. That appears to be WWE's spring cleaning day, as it were. And this year, the releases, some of them were kind of surprising. Billy Kay, Peyton Royce, Mickie James, Samoa Joe, the one that really surprised me. Bo Dallas, I think people have been expecting that one for a long time. He hasn't been on TV since 2019. Wesley Blake, Mojo Rawley, Chelsea Green, who never even had a chance to get started on the main roster. She had been called up and was injured, broke her wrist in her debut, and by all accounts, recently was medically cleared, and they let her go. That I don't understand that at all. And then Kalisto from Lucha House Party, and Tucker from formerly of Heavy Machinery. Again, another one that makes no sense. I mean, they broke up Heavy Machinery, had Otis win the Money in the Bank, had Otis's whole storyline with Mandy Rose and Dolph Ziggler, which was, a pretty good story, I think. And, Tucker just kind of was left with nothing. And then they turn around, take the Money in the Bank away from Otis, turn him heel, and put him in another tag team with Chad Gable. If you were just going to throw the guy in another tag team, why not leave Heavy Machinery together? Heavy Machinery was a good, legit tag team. So I'm not certain what the logic is there, but Tucker released as well. So and I'll have some more to say about this a little bit later on in the show. But let's get into the news and rumors and results for the week. Starting off with WWE, we've got a new announce team on Monday Night Raw consisting of Adnan Virk, Corey Graves, and Byron Saxton. So kind of an interesting choice. Adnan Virk came from the MLB Network. Seems very low-key, I guess would be the right word, not real excitable or anything like that. And you could tell he's not super experienced with wrestling, but I would venture to say Corey Graves is carrying that announce team right now until Virk gets some experience under his belt. But I didn't hate it. It's just something you got to get used to. So not a bad debut. The Viking Raiders returned on Monday Night Raw. Not a lot of fanfare around this one, but they did pick up the win over Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Hopefully, the Viking Raiders are going to be put right back into the hunt for the tag team championships, because I definitely think they're ones that could take those titles off of AJ Styles and Omos, because by all appearances, Omos is just going to be a monster that just runs through everybody. So I think the Viking Raiders could be the ones to, give them a real challenge. So we'll have to wait and see. We also saw Charlotte make her return after being off TV for a little bit. And, she wants right back in that Raw Women's title picture. She interfered in the rematch between Asuka and Rhea Ripley that took place on Raw. Maurice made her return to WWE TV. She was on Miz TV, just basically promoting Miz and Mrs. The new season started this week. The show was interrupted by Damian Priest, of course, which led to a handicap match, which was won by Miz and Morrison. I don't think that was any big surprise. Then we had MVP in the ring, cutting a promo about Bobby Lashley, WWE Champion. He was interrupted by Drew McIntyre, Braun Strowman, and Randy Orton. All of them wanting the next title match. Adam Pearce came out, made a triple threat match for the number one contendership, which took place later on in the show. And then, sorry, I lost my place here. Yeah, took place. That was the main event of the show. McIntyre did win that triple threat match, so he is going to get the championship rematch at the next pay-per-view, which they're calling WrestleMania Backlash. And at the end of that match, it was kind of interesting. We saw McIntyre attacked by T-Bar and Mace, formerly of Retribution. So now I don't know if they are officially members of the Hurt Business or if MVP just kind of is using them as mercenaries, for lack of a better term, or how that's going to work. Now, if they are part of the Hurt Business, I really hope they take the masks off of them and let them go back to their actual names. Dio Madden and Dijakovic or Dijak. I really wish they would let them just go by Dijak. It's just, yeah. But anyway, so I have to see what's going on with T-Bar and Mace as far as their standing in the Hurt Business. Moving on to NXT, we opened the show with a promo from new NXT champion Karrion Kross, basically challenging anybody and everybody to step up for the NXT championship. MSK had their first tag team title defense against Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. They did retain those championships, and at the end of the match, Imperium attacking Killian Dane. Now, they, over the past several weeks, they had been seemingly making a pitch to have Killian Dane join Imperium. Obviously, there's some history there with Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf, both former members of the Sanity faction on NXT and Raw and SmackDown as well. So I'm pretty sure we'll eventually see Killian Dane as part of Imperium. We've got a new Cruiserweight champion, a little bit of a surprise. Santos Escobar just unified the Cruiserweight championships at TakeOver, and he was defeated by Kushida. So Kushida, the new Cruiserweight champion. And then afterwards we saw a segment in the back with Jordan Devlin from NXT UK basically telling Kushida, I have to go back to the UK, but I'm coming back for that championship. So obviously setting up a future match, which Devlin and Kushida, sign me up for that. Saw a promo from a tag team we haven't seen in a little while, Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher, basically saying that they are getting back to business and still wanting the NXT Tag Team Championships. So MSK versus Ciampa and Thatcher looks like it's on the horizon. And we saw another promo from the new NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez, and she was interrupted by the debuting Frankie Monet, previously known as Taya Valkyrie. And Frankie Monet basically saying this, it's her division. She's coming for that championship. So I can't wait to see her in-ring debut. I'm a huge fan of Taya Valkyrie, so, can't wait to see her against like Raquel Gonzalez or Dakota Kai or really anybody in the NXT women's division. I cannot wait for that. And then at the end of that promo, we saw Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair both come out, the Raw and SmackDown women's champions. And just a nice segment in the ring with these three women, Rhea, Bianca, and Raquel. Because basically they came up through NXT together, and now all three are champions on all three brands of the show. So that was really a cool moment. And then we saw another backstage segment with Roderick Strong and William Regal, and apparently Strong has, in storyline at least, resigned from NXT. So I don't know if he's going to be showing up on the main roster on Raw or SmackDown, or if this is going to lead into a different kind of storyline for him in NXT. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm very curious about this one. Then in the main event, Bronson Reed, Dexter Lumis, Shotzi Blackheart, and Ember Moon defeated The Way in an 8-person mixed tag match. Interesting spot in this one, Indy Hartwell left with Dexter Lumis. Now, they've been teasing this for a while with Indy like having a crush on Dexter, and Beth Phoenix referring to them as Index. I can't believe that's a thing, but it is. And basically in the middle of the match, Indy was feigning an injury in the middle of the ring, pretty much to distract Lumis from, because he had Johnny Gargano in submission at the time, and he let go of the hold and picked up Indy and basically left the ring area. So I have no clue where this is going, but we'll have to see. NXT UK, Nathan Frazier, formerly known as Ben Carter, picks up another win over Saxton Huxley in a very good match. I keep telling you guys, if you have not checked out NXT UK, check it out, if for no other reason than just the in-ring action. It's not heavy on story, but the in-ring is just ridiculously good. And then Isla Dawn picked up a win over Millie McKenzie in another very good match. And then on SmackDown, again, a new commentary team. Pat McAfee joining Michael Cole on SmackDown. Kind of interesting. But, again, it was what it was. It's something we're going to have to get used to. And that's anytime they switch up the announce teams. You get used to hearing certain people on certain shows, and then they switch it up on you. So you got to get used to it. Saw an opening promo from Roman Reigns, the Universal Champion, and he was interrupted by Cesaro, of all people, which I know this made a lot of fans happy, putting Cesaro into that Universal Championship picture. And Roman basically just turned his back and walked out on Cesaro. And obviously, Cesaro requested a match with Roman Reigns for that night and ended up getting a match with Jey Uso instead, which was the main event of the show. Rey Mysterio got a win over Otis. Kevin Owens got a countout victory over Sami Zayn in a rematch from WrestleMania. And we heard from Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews with the former Dabba-Kato or Babatunde, whatever you want to call him. He will now be known as Commander Aziz, and he is the the Imperial Guard now for Apollo Crews. So and Apollo still, I'm guessing they're going to continue this storyline with Big E for a little while. Of course, Big E is due a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship. Bianca Belair had her championship celebration with the Street Profits, which was, kind of a cool spot. And then the Street Profits actually got a rematch for the Smackdown tag team titles against Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, but Roode and Ziggler did retain. Kind of a surprise. I expected the Profits to get those titles back. And then in the main event, Cesaro got the victory over Jimmy Uso by disqualification due to interference from Seth Rollins. So obviously they're going to continue this issue with Rollins and Cesaro for a while. I'm wondering if Rollins is going to be thrown into this Universal title picture in some form or fashion, and we're going to end up seeing possibly a triple threat match at some point. I would say that's probably the most likely, so we'll have to see where that's going to go. Moving on to some AEW stuff on Elevation and Dark, the Factory, which is QT Marshall's new faction that split off from the Nightmare family, picking up some victories, as well as the Dark Order, SCU, and the Varsity Blondes all getting victories on Elevation and Dark. Layla Hirsch got a victory over Shanna, which was a very good women's match. I would definitely suggest checking that one out. Thunder Rosa got a win over Diamante, and Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, making their debut as a tag team, got a win over Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. And then the Best Friends picked up a victory over Cesar Bononi and Ryan Nemeth. On Dynamite, MJF at the beginning of the show tried to buy off Mike Tyson for that match between Jericho and Dax Harwood later on in the show. Needless to say, he was unsuccessful in that. We saw a promo from the Young Bucks basically saying that they're going back to their old ways. They had some new ring gear. They got rid of all the tassels and all the bright colors. They were actually wearing gray, which was kind of odd. But so they're going back to their heel days, so to speak, and they got the win over Phoenix and Pac in the tag team championship match. The way they won this match, they actually pulled Phoenix's mask off, which of course he was covering his face, which left him open to attack and led to the pinfall. Jade Cargill got a win over Red Velvet in their long-awaited singles match. Anthony Ogogo won his in-ring debut via referee stoppage due to a body shot on his opponent. Just hit him with from a boxing standpoint, a good-looking gut shot, and the guy just went down and the ref stopped the match. A lot of people complaining about this, but you know what? The guy's an Olympic medalist in boxing. Let me see anybody else take a gut punch from this guy and tell me you're going to want to keep fighting. So, I like it. I liked the way that they did this one. Chris Jericho did get the victory over Dax Harwood in that match when, Mike Tyson knocked out Cash Wheeler, which was kind of entertaining. Had a promo from Miro saying he can't find Kip Sabian, and that he's going basically refocusing himself and he wants a championship. So watch out for Miro, because I think the comedy and type of fun stuff that he's been involved in is pretty much over. He's been aggressive and dominant since his debut, but I think we're going to see more of that from Miro going forward. Chris Statlander, with her in-ring return, got a win over Amber Nova. Christian Cage formally turned down the invitation to join Team Taz and got a beatdown from Powerhouse Hobbs for his trouble. And then, of course, we had that big main event with Darby and Matt Hardy, which, again, fantastic match. Definitely go back and check that one out. Some Impact news from this week. Josh Alexander got a victory over TJP in another damn good match. This was a match of the week contender. We saw the official announcement of Taylor Wilde returning to Impact Wrestling, so I cannot wait for that one. Eddie Edwards and Willie Mack laid down a challenge to Violent by Design, which, of course, was answered, ended up in a 4-on-2, and the save was made by James Storm and Chris Sabin, and this set up an 8-man tag team match coming up at Rebellion. We saw Jazz's retirement speech. Of course, she lost her Knockouts Championship match to Deonna Purrazzo, which the stipulation was if she lost, she had to retire. Fire and Flava interrupted, and that turned into an impromptu match, which Jordan and Jazz did pick up the victory. And so on the heels of that, we're going to see a Knockouts Tag Team title match at Rebellion. It will be Fire and Flava defending against Jordan Grace and a partner chosen by Jazz. I'm interested to see who this is going to be. Maybe Taylor Wilde. That would be a pretty cool debut. Taylor Wilde is a former Knockouts Tag Team champion. So, yeah, I think Taylor Wilde would be the perfect partner for Jordan Grace. I would love to see that tag team. Taylor, I've said before, one of my favorite knockouts of all time. I was bummed when she left Impact when she did, because it was just, it just seemed, I don't know, at the time it just seemed kind of out of left field, but, you know, she went on to do other stuff, and now she's coming back, so we'll have to wait and see. But that's what I'm hoping for, is Jordan and Taylor Wilde taking on Fire and Flava. And then we had a pick your poison spot between Brian Myers and Matt Cardona. Basically, they chose each other's opponents for the night. This is leading into their match at Rebellion. Myers got the win over Jake Something, and Sami Callihan defeated Matt Cardona. And at the end of that, Callahan's still trying to get Trey Miguel to come over to his side. It was revealed that Callahan is the one that took out Tommy Dreamer at Hardcore Justice, which allowed Trey Miguel to take his place in that the main event match. And, when Trey basically turned down Sami Callihan again, he caught a beatdown. And at the end of the show, we saw a Rebellion press conference for the title versus title match between Kenny Omega and Rich Swann, with Tony Khan, Kenny Omega, Jerry Lynn, Don Callis, Scott D'Amore, and Rich Swann. And of course, this broke down into a brawl between Swann and Omega at the end of it. So they're really hyping this match up. They're saying that there will be a definitive winner, and that winner will have to carry the schedule of both companies, AEW and Impact, as far as title defenses and things like that. So I may end up buying this Impact pay-per-view just to see this match. And I mean, some of the other ones, some good matches announced for it, but we'll get into that next week when we do a preview and stuff. Moving on to MLW, Alex Hammerstone defeated Mil Muertes and got his national openweight championship belt back. Now, he was the champion going in, but Muertes had stolen the championship, had stolen the belt. And but yeah, so Hammerstone got the win over Muertes and recovered his title belt. Some Ring of Honor news. Rocky Romero defeated Delirious in a Pure Rules match. I love the Pure Rules division of Ring of Honor. Absolutely love it. So check this one out as well. And then Jonathan Gresham and Jay Lethal defeated Bandito and Flamita, kind of as a result of Flamita turning on Bandito. Now, there's been a lot of dissension among the Mexa squad, which is Bandito, Flamita, and Rey Horus in Ring of Honor. So this just playing more into that. Moving on to New Japan. The finals of the New Japan Cup USA are set. Brody King will be taking on Filthy Tom Lawler, and the winner of that not only gets the New Japan USA Cup, but also the Strong Openweight Championship. And a little bit of NWA news here. Thunder Rosa saying she wants both the AEW and NWA Women's Championship. So possibly another title unification scenario coming up with the Women's Championships with AEW and the NWA. Definitely some interesting, interpromotional stuff going on here, and I am loving it. Any wrestling fan should be loving this, seeing promotions working together and all this kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys are liking it too. So that's pretty much going to wrap up all the news and rumors and all that kind of stuff and results. One miscellaneous note: we saw a video posted on social media by Aleister Black. And he says it's time to cull the herd. So hinting at comeback. This is something that's been rumored for a while, that they're going to be, Black is going to be re-debuting on WWE TV soon. So hopefully this is leading into that sooner rather than later. So that is going to, again, wrap things up for news and rumors and results for the week. So right now I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with the Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey to wrestling fans. I am Charlie G with this week's Indie Cut. There wasn't as much wrestling action this week for a change, so let's begin with Saturday, April 10th, Stardom Cinderella Tournament, Day 1. So Stardom is starting their Cinderella Tournament. First round matches. So we got Himeka defeating Hanan, Maika defeating Konami. Unagi Sayaka defeating Natsuko Tora. Arena defeated Azumi. Starlight Kid defeated Momo Watanabe. Mayu Iwatani defeated Fukigen Death. Yep, that's her new name, Fukigen Death. Julia defeated Ruaka. Utami Hayashita defeated Mina Shirakawa. Saya Kamatani defeated Tam Nakano. And Siri defeated Natsupoi. And pretty much the match of the night there. But a good show, nonetheless, by Stardom. Keep up the great work. Then we had New Japan Road to Wrestling Dantuko, yeah. Day 1 started up. These are all tag matches during this time, so the main event of this was a 10-man tag elimination match between Bullet Club and semi-main event was the 10-man tag elimination between Bullet Club and Chaos, and the main event was an 8-man tag between LIJ and the United Empire. No need to get into those. We have Riot City Wrestling Rise to Power from Fullerton, South Australia, Australia. For the RCW Women's title, champion Savannah Summers defeated Delta. And for the RCW title, champion Matt Hayter defeated Mike Boomer. Still in Australia, we have Newcastle Pro Wrestling Pro House Party. Houston, we have a problem. Wow. Okay, from Gateshead, Australia. For the Nui Pro Middleweight title, champion Matt Diamond defeated Parker Thomas. Still in Australia, we got Melbourne City Wrestling Fallout 2021 from Thornbury, Victoria, Australia. For their Inter-Commonwealth title, Loki Hendricks defeated champion Caveman Egg and Richie Taylor to become new champion. For their MCW Women's title, Kellyanne defeated champion Avery to become new champion there as well. Slux defeated Mitch Waterman. And for their World Heavyweight title, champion Adam Brooks defeated Danny Psycho. Australia really put on a bunch of shows this day. And then Australian Wrestling Superstars, Nan's birthday celebration from Sydney, Australia, where they had an AWS, ASWA, and NWA tag title match. I don't believe the US NWA. So the ASWA and AWS champions Goran Nikolov and Lucius Wolf defeated the NWA champions of Bushido and Johnny Hardwood to become a 3-time champion. So they won the NWA titles. Robbie Eagles defeated Lee Moreau, and for their hardcore title, Keegan Brettle defeated champion. For the vacant hardcore title, Keegan Brettle defeated Captain Keto and Dragon. Alright. Now we head up to Progress, Chapter 108. Of course, the really lies This Means War from London, England. Hopefully it is on the network. If not, go to demandprogress.com. Jordan Breaks defeated Kid Lyko second. They have a Progress Tag Title Tournament. So their first round matches were Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper defeating Big Guns Joe and Gene Money. And Ethan Allen with Luke Jacobs defeated Chris Ridgway and Danny Black. Millie McKenzie defeated Alexis Falcon. Mercedes Blaze defeated Kanji. And for the Progress World title, champion Cara Noir defeated Kid Lycos. Still in the UK, we have Insane Championship Wrestling, Fight Club 167 from Glasgow, Scotland. They say you can check that out on the network. They have a couple of 0G title matches, so check that out if you wish. Finally to the States, and we go to Powerrr, Alaska for WrestlePro Northern Exposure Day 5. I believe this is the last day. So Matt Cross defeated Bobby Wayward. LSG defeated Shane Douglas. For the WrestlePro Gold, champion Dion Roosman defeated Justin Carino. Tommy Dreamer defeated Sandy Callahan. Yeah, they had to go all the way over there to have an Impact match. Go figure. And then for the WrestlePro Last Frontier title ladder match, Falaba is your champion there, defeating Elke, Bison Axel, Cheeseburger, Leah Baratz, Micah Taylor, Nikos Ricos, and Tyler Payne. So Falaba is a champion all the way in Alaska. We had two Wrestle America Apocalypse from Barnesville, Georgia. Yeah, they had a show. To go with that. Wrestle Against Hunger had a show. Gonna do some heavy editing as I speak. Southern Violence and Wrestling, Nothing But a G Thing on Fight TV from Athens, Georgia. They put on a show. Then we go to the end of Indie Mania week. So we start with GCW's Effie's Big Gay Brunch at 11 a.m. from Ybor City, Florida. Still outside the Cuban Club. Edith Sorrell defeated Devin Monroe. J.D. Drake defeated M.V. Young. Soul on a pole match. Effie defeated Ace Perry. And then he still gave Ace Perry's soul back to him. Dark Sheik defeated AC Mack. Those are the only matches I will get into. Decent show to start off the day. We go to then IWTV's Tony Deppin's Beer House at noon. Now Tony Deppin did not wrestle because of his neck injury. So he just did the ring announcing, which was a little rough when you kept on drinking beers almost every other match. Braden Lee defeated Ace Austin. Casey Cattell on her birthday defeated Ava Everett in a Beer House Brawl match. Tank defeated the one called Manders. Andy Brown defeated Myron Reed. Simon Grimm defeated Brandon Kirk by referee's decision. KTB and Shane Mercer defeated JP and M3 and Rohit Raju and Ty Hyel. He was kind of new, so I really did not know who he was. Heather Monroe defeated Billy Starks, and Jordan Oliver defeated J.D. Drake. This was actually a pretty fun show to watch, especially that early in the morning, for me at least. We go to GCW Planet Death at 3 p.m. They were still outside, so we had Sluck defeating Nolan Edward, Man Pondo defeating Matthew Justice, in a Four Corners of Pain. Gory and Jimmy Lloyd defeated Brandon Kirk and G. Raver. In a six-man tag, Effie, Mance Warner, and Nate Webb defeated Agus Kogar, Bobby Beverly, and Gregory Iron. And for the vacant GCW Ultra Violent title, Alex Clone defeated Lucky 13. I really didn't watch that show much. We got Beyond Time Capsule from Tampa, Florida at 4 p.m. They had an IWTV Independent Wrestling #1 contendership. First round matches. So Dave Cole defeated Facade. Gary J defeated Herzog. Dan Barry defeated Eric Corvas. And Anthony Stone defeated Jefferson Saint. Jaka and Sean Maluda defeated Russ Myers and T-Money. Allison Kay defeated Sugar Duncanton, or Shug D, however you want to put it. Ricky Shane Page and Vincent Nothing. I don't know how Ricky Shane Page was walking after the night before, but he still put on a tag team match against defeating the besties in the world, Davey Vega and Matt Fitchett. So it's nice to see them in action. And then for the #1 contendership final four-way match, Dave Cole won that. Then for shows during WrestleMania, so I really did not watch these shows at all. So we had the ICW No Holds Barred Volume 12, Farewell to the Pawn Shop at 7 p.m. They were at the Brew Company, so they are indoors no matter what. Nolan Edward defeated Dan Moff. Neil Diamond Color defeated Tank. Atticus Cogar defeated Reed Bentley. And for the vacant ICW American Deathmatch title, John Wayne Murdoch defeated Eric Ryan, my bad there. And then for the GCW Unsanctioned Pro Fueled by Spite, also at 7 p.m., they were now indoors somewhere around the Cuban Club. I don't believe this is inside the Cuban Club. It's a little too fancy. It looked more like a auditorium, more or less. So this is Billy Starks defeated Freddie Hudson, Rob Killjoy, Ron Bass Jr., The Whisper, and Yoya. And Zach Thomas, my bad. Cold Radrick defeated Jake Something. That's a little bit of an upset, don't you think? For the OWA Heavyweight title, champion Trey Lamar defeated Myron Reed. That had to be an awesome match. And for the Unsanctioned Pro Heavyweight title, champion Everett Cross defeated G. Raver. And then for the show, I was able to see the GCW No Peace Underground Shallow Graves at 11:59 p.m. Downstairs at the Cuban Club, I believe, because this looked very much like an underground arena. Odinson and Farrell defeated Jake Something and Rohit Raju. It was a little weird to watch them in tag action. This is no ring, by the way. There's no ring, of course. No Peace Underground, no ring. In a scramble match, Wolf Taylor defeated Cole Radrick, Devin Monroe, J.J. Garrett, Kevin Blackwood, and Jimmy Lloyd in his new Hurt Business t-shirt from WrestleMania. Yep, Jimmy Lloyd, and I heard Jimmy Lloyd and oh god, I'm spamming on his name. Yeah, I can't think of his name. Spring Break. Oh man, he's gonna kick my butt. Yeah, they're at the WrestleMania. Oh wow, I'm forgetting his name. Sorry. Okay, so we got Eric Redbeard made an appearance defeating Matthew Justice. Mance Warner defeated Connor Claxton. G. Raver defeated Sue Young, and Masada defeated Alex Clone. A lot of those were very bloody. And yeah, fun to watch. It ended around 1:30 p.m. 1 a.m. So yeah. We head to H2O Underground Pay Your Dues 4. They put on a show for their hybrid title. Mouse won that. Then we go to AAW Alive number 5 here in Villa Park, Illinois. This was at 2:30 in the afternoon on Twitch TV, so they were smart enough not to go against WrestleMania. Allison Kay defeated Ray Lynn. Ren Jones defeated Damian Chambers. Matthew Justice defeated Gary J. And Freddie Dayhigh defeated Travis Titan. Oh, Joey Janela. There you go. He was at WrestleMania too. Sorry, Joey. You can punch me in the face when you see me at Warrior Wrestling. On to CMLL for the World Heavyweight title. Champion Ultimo Guerrero defeated Diamante Azul. They're holding a Mexican National Trios title tournament. No need to really get into all of those names right now. Finally, on to Sunday, April 11th. Sunday Girls Spring Easter Day 2 had a show. Pure J Fight Together had a show where their openweight title was on the line. And Raiden Hagan defeated champion Kari Oniyama to become the champion. New Japan Road to Tokyo Day 2 was on. There was a Jaguar Yokota 45th anniversary show where Jaguar Yokota, Karu, and Zap 1 defeated Kazuki Nagami Habashida and Tsubasa Karagaki. New Ice Ribbon 1109 in Skip City. For the Fantastic Ice title, champion Risa Serra defeated Tekla. And they had International Ribbon Tag title, where champions Maika Azuki and Maya Ukihai won that. Gotta Move Chocolate Pro 105 took place on YouTube. Dragon Gate, the Gate of Passion Day 5 took place. And also Dragon's 6-man team won that. Pro Wrestling Diana had a show on YouTube with Asuka on the card. Dramatic Dream Team April Fool 2021. I put this down. Oh, Chris Brooks, Saki Akai, Yuki Ino, and Yukio Naya defeated Akito, Kazuki Hirata, Keigo Nakamura, and Makoto Oshii. For the KO'd tag titles, Hiroshima and Yuji Okabayashi defeated champions Kasusada Higuchi and Yuki Sakaguchi to become new champions. And for the KO'd openweight title, champion Jun Akiyama defeated Datsuko Dino. Pretty interesting show, I must say. Especially that match. Very, very Dino-ish if you know who Dino is. All Japan Champion Carnival Day 3 took place. With more matches, with more Carnival matches. Tajiri and his team won his 6-man tag match. Monday, April 12th, where they had a Tokyo Yoshi Pro English show, but only one match, with Chris Brooks and Balikan Aki on commentary. So Miri Minumi and Miyu Watanabe defeated Hikari Noah and Sina Sura. Nice match between those four. Gadamu Chaka Pro 106 took place on YouTube. Dragon Gate of Passion Day 6 took place. Ultimo Dragon's team lost on that night. Kaligo Pro Rising Knights are on YouTube. And then another Coventry Pro Wrestling League Next Gen Moonlight number 14 from West Midlands, England. They are new, so you are now on the map. For the CPW Women's title, champion Shotty defeated Carrie. For the Next Gen World Heavyweight title, champion Jimmy Vice defeated Taco. Okay, interesting name there. On to Tuesday, April 13th, and Tokyo Yoshi Pro Spring Tour continued on, with Shoko Nakajima defeating Urushu Endo. Hikari Noah and Marika Kobashi defeated Haruna Neko and Pam Harajuku. Mizuki and Yuki Sakazaki with Raku defeated Miri Minumi, Moka Miyamoto, and Suzumi. Nodoka Tenma and Yuki Aino defeated Hyper Masao and Mahiro Kiru. Miyo Watanabe, Rika Tatsumi, and Nao Kakuta defeated Maki Ito, Miyu Yamashita, and Yuki Kamafuku. Not a major upset there, but interesting to see Maki Ito finally lost her first match back from AEW, so that was a little down there. New Japan Road to Dantuko Day 3 took place. Actress Girls Beginning show took place where Kaori Yoniyama defeated Noe Higurashu. Kaligo Pro, of course, Ohio Valley Wrestling TV 1131. Brandon Tate and Brent Tate defeated Jared Kripke and J.C. Adams. New Stereo Wars number 14 took place on High Spots Network. New South Pro Wrestling Action Class from Haynesville, Alabama. Shug D defeated Baby, and Two Fly Ty defeated Donnie Janela. Heavy Metal Wrestling Mall Madness number 3 from San Antonio, Texas on IWTV. For the GWF TV title, champion Jeff Grant defeated Michael Arrow. ACH defeated Rob Love. So ACH was in action just in Texas. Then an Absolute Intense Wrestling Go for Broke number 2 from Cleveland, Ohio on IWTV, in which I would consider the fastest 5 matches I've ever seen. So Kaplan won his match in 6 minutes 40 seconds. The Duke won in a minute. TKD won in 8 minutes 15 seconds. Eric Taylor won in 53 seconds. And Joshua Bishop won in 49 seconds. I hope you didn't have to pay for that show. Give me a break. On to Wednesday, April 14th. Wave Weekday Volume 123 took place. Ice Ribbons Peace Party number 71 took place with more league block matches. To League of Pro on YouTube, of course. Paradigm Pro Wrestling, UWFI Rules, Contender Series, Season 2, Episode 4. Flash Thompson defeated Yoya. Dominic Guarini defeated Ron Mathis. And Derek Neal defeated Ron Bass Jr. Limitless The Road, Season 3, Episode 8. Ace Romero and with B.A. Tatum and Owen Brody defeated Alec Price, Champ Matthews, and Connor Murphy. Thursday, April 15th, New Japan Road. Tokyo Yoshi Pro, that's JPW number 2, another English match where Maki Ito defeated Tam Harajuku. Pretty nice match between those two. League of Pro. IWA Mid-South, Spring Fever 2021. In a Pick Your Poison match, Kevin Giza defeated Gary J. And for the IWA Mid-South Tag Titles, Jake Chris and John Wayne Murdoch defeated Logan James and Tyler Matrix, who were champions. So now Jake Chris and John Wayne Murdoch are your new champions. There was more heavy metal wrestling from San Antonio, Texas. The Grind number 2. No real important matches there. Friday, April 16th, New Japan Road 2, Day 5. Actress Girls Beginning with Kari Oniyama defeating Noi Higurashi. Kaliga Pro on YouTube. Westside Extreme Wrestling, We Love Wrestling number 8 from Germany. Check that out if you can. Wrestling with Regret, Do It for the Content from California. So for their YouTube title, Gentleman Jervis defeated champion Levi Shapiro to become the new champion. So nice for Gentleman Jervis. He's also a Twitch streamer, so check that out if you feel like, whenever he does. New Japan Strong, number 36 from the USA. For their Japan Cup USA semifinal matches, Tom Lawler defeated Hikuleo, and Brody King defeated Leo Rush. Limitless Wrestling had a special show, Suffer No Fools, from Maine. Ashley Fox and Dummy Exo defeated Becca and Divine. Ava Everett defeated Ricky Archer. JD Drake defeated Rip Bison. And for the Limitless Wrestling World Title Submission match, champion Daniel Garcia defeated Lee Moriarty. That had to be a really good match there. Saturday, April 17th, Death Match Down Under. Not Here to Have Spiders from Carlton, Australia. Tyson Baxter defeated Chacha McKenzie. And for the vacant tag team title, Ashu and Murdoch defeated Fox and JXT to become the champions there. Gotta Move Chaka Pro 107 on YouTube. Then late last night here in the States and early in the morning there for Tokyo Yoshi Pro, still incomplete. Got to see the show for a change. So Marika Kobashi and Sunny Sura defeated Yushu Endo and Moko Miyamoto. Miyu Watanabe and Raku with Pam Harajuku defeated Kurono Neko, Mihiru Kiru, and Yuna Minazi. Miyu Yamashita and who defeated Hikari Noah. In a three-way tornado tag match, Miyu Miyumi and Suzumi, in a pretty much a major upset to me, defeated Mizuki and Yuka Sakazaki and Hyper Misao and Soko Nakajima. Yeah. So for the International Princess title, champion Yuki Kamafuku defeated Nao Kakuda. That was a good match there. For the Princess tag titles, Mei Saint Michelle and Sakasama, sorry about that, defeated Nodoka Tenma and Yuki Aino to become new champions. So I'm happy for that. Good match there. And for the Princess title, champion Riki Tatsumi defeated Maki Ito. Good match. you know Mackie lost. But still a fun show. Check that out if you can. If anything, you know where to find DJ Stream. He'll have it on soon. Ice Ribbon new site, new Ice Ribbon 1110 took place. All Japan Champion Carnival Day 4 took place. More Champion Carnival matches. Sorry about that. This is a little tired right now. Collegiate Pro Saturday Rising Nights on YouTube. And then Coventry Pro Wrestling was back in action with their Moonlight number 15 show from West Midlands, England. So before I say so long, I was asked a question in DJ Ansi stream, Twitch stream last week, about how much wrestling I watched during Mania week. So I figured I would tell you all here. Starting Sunday, April 4th, I watched half of the New Japan Genesis show. Since it was Easter, I only watched half. So then go to Raw, both nights of NXT TakeOver, AEW Dynamite, Impact Hardcore Justice, Night 1 of WrestleMania, Stardom's pay-per-view show from that Sunday, 14 full indie shows, including the AEW show, part of 5 indie shows, ending at about 1:30 a.m. Sunday, April 11th. So yeah, that's crazy. I'm proud of it. It's me. I really have no life, of course, because, well, I'm a slacker. So thank you for hockey and baseball. Also, give me a break. Give me a mat break for my eyes, because I watched hockey games and baseball games in between all that wrestling. So don't judge me, people. So now that's a wrap for me. Till next time with more indie matches and other news from around the wrestling world. Don't forget to look up those Twitch streams and YouTube channels for other wrestling content. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Keep safe, take care, and be kind, everyone. Back to you, Tim.
All right, thank you, Charlie. So let's keep rolling right along into the next segment of the show where I get to play kind of armchair promoter here, and I am talking about the Fantasy Booker. So in light of all these WWE releases that happened this week, and of course when they were announced, you started seeing all the stuff online about, AEW, Impact, whatever. So I thought this week on the Fantasy Booker, I'm gonna give my take on where I think these released talent would do the best, or would serve that particular company the best. And I'm going to start off with probably the two biggest names that were among these releases, Samoa Joe and Mickie James. I think both of them would do very well to go to AEW. And, of course, that's first thing out of everybody's mouth. Somebody gets really, AEW, WWE rejects, blah, 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 whatever. Let's start with Samoa Joe. You're talking about somebody who is a beast in the ring, who is just a fire on the microphone, whether it's cutting promos, doing commentary, whatever. He is great on the mic, and he's somebody who can contribute backstage as a coach, producer, whatever you want to call it, as far as booking matches and just helping the younger talent. So it's a win-win all around, and I think AEW would be the best place to go for Samoa Joe. Plus, you've got a built-in storyline. Him and Taz have history from going back to TNA with the Main Event Mafia and that kind of stuff. Taz was the one that not introduced Joe to TNA, but at one point was like Joe's mentor, I guess you could say, in TNA. And so I think there's just a very cool dynamic there between Taz and Samoa Joe that they could play off of in AEW, whether it's with Joe being a part of Team Taz or being opposed to Team Taz, possibly coming in as like backup to Christian Cage, who's got the issues with Team Taz right now, because there's history there too from TNA between Christian and Samoa Joe. So a lot of stuff that Joe could do in AEW. And as far as Mickie James, she would be a huge boost to the AEW women's division. As far, same thing with Joe. She can go in the ring. She's done commentary. She'd make a great coach for, the younger women in AEW backstage. So again, it's a win-win-win all the way around. But also there's the possibility of Mickie James going to the NWA. Obviously, Mickie is married to Nick Aldis, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So I could see that happening as well. But I think AEW would be, in my opinion, AEW would be a better spot for Mickie James. Moving on to Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, the Iconics. Number one, you put them back together as a tag team. They should have never been split up in the first place. And if you're talking about women's tag team wrestling, there's only one place for them to go, and that's Impact. The Knockouts tag team division, they would fit in just perfectly there. So I would love to see the Iconics show up in Impact, as well as another one of these releases that I think should go back to Impact is Chelsea Green. Obviously, she's she's with Matt Cardona. They're engaged and everything like that. And Chelsea Green has history in Impact, was there for a number of years before she went to WWE. So, and she could slide right back into the Knockouts division. That would also give access for her to work in AEW, hopefully. We haven't seen really any crossover with the women's divisions between AEW and Impact. So, hopefully that's something that's still in the works. So hopefully that's something we'll see. But I think Chelsea Green would definitely make a good fit in Impact Wrestling, obviously because she was there before. And another one I think Impact would be a good fit for is Mojo Rawley. Again, he has history with Matt Cardona. They were tag team partners for a long time. Throw him into the mix with Cardona and Myers possibly, or, who knows? I just think, I think Impact would be a good fit for Mojo. And then the last one I want to talk about is Kalisto. He, I think, would be a good fit in Ring of Honor. Especially with all of the dissension going on within the Mexa squad right now, with Flamita kind of breaking off from Rey Horus and Bandito. Put Kalisto with Flamita against the other two. I think that, my God, that would make a fantastic match. So, that's just kind of my take on where some of these released talents should end up. It's honestly, I'll be happy to see him anywhere. I'll be happy to see him on TV, because a lot of these people that got released haven't been on TV in God knows when. So, I'll be happy to see wherever they land if they choose to continue in wrestling. Some of them may not. Who knows? But so we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what happens. So, moving on to the final segment of the show here, where I give a little bit of an unpopular opinion, and I don't think today will be any different. I'm talking about the weekly hot take. These yearly WWE releases, their spring cleaning, or last year it was called Black Wednesday, because they, by all accounts, released like 40% of their staff, not just the talent roster, but their overall staff. It's complete bullshit, and especially the reason that was given for these cuts, or for these releases, was budget cuts. They just signed a $1 billion deal with Peacock. Okay, if their accounting department is that bad that they have to make budget cuts after signing a $1 billion deal, that's the department they need to be restaffing and making cuts in. Okay, not their talent roster, not their on-air talent. So the reason given is just utter crap, and nobody's buying it. I'm sorry. You just signed a $1 billion deal with Peacock. A couple years ago, you signed a $1 billion deal with Fox for Smackdown. You have no budget issues, or at least you shouldn't, especially after making record profits in a year where you couldn't tour and couldn't have live audiences, and you're making record profits, and now you're claiming budget cuts for releasing talent. I'm sorry, it's insulting to the talent, number one, who all of them handled it with the utmost class and professionalism. I have to give it to every last one of them, the way that they handled it, the statements that they made afterwards. Nothing but class, nothing but professionalism. But for WWE to claim, oh, we're making budget cuts, we have to let you go, I'm sorry, that it's weak. It's a joke, and it's just a flat out lie. Let's call it what it is. It is a lie. So, but the main thing here is, you wouldn't have to do these major waves of releases every year, if you would stop signing more talent than you can use. That's the biggest issue at play here. WWE went through a streak of just hoarding talent when AEW first kicked off because, you know, by all accounts, they didn't want AEW getting the bigger stars out there. And they would sign all these people and then they don't use them. You know, and I'm not talking about the indie talent that they're signing and sending to the performance center for training and refining and to see what they've got. I'm not talking about that. That, you know, any of these young men and women who, you know, are making their way through the indies and WWE wants to sign them and send them to the PC and see what they've got, they'd be crazy not to take that opportunity. It's a fantastic opportunity with the biggest wrestling company in the world. I don't begrudge that to anybody. But I'm talking about, like, the more veteran talent. Like, I'll use Chelsea Green as an example. You know, they signed Chelsea Green, one of the better women performers in Impact at the time. Great character, great, you know, stories that she was involved in Impact. WWE signs her, and they did nothing. Nothing. How many appearances did she have in NXT? How many storylines was she involved in NXT? Nothing of any substance that I can recall. And then they bring her up to the main roster, and again, nothing. And then she, you know, makes her debut, gets injured, breaks her wrist, goes through rehab, gets cleared, and they release her. That is such a common story with WWE. I'm sorry, stop signing more talent than you can use. Stop signing people that you don't know what to do with. That's the biggest thing here. WWE's roster is so inflated, and granted, they have what do they have? 10, 12 hours of original programming a week. So there's enough time to put a lot of these people on television and to give them that exposure and to involve them in stories or at least have them out there in matches, and they don't do it. You know, the TV time revolves around the same 5 or 6 people per show, and that's crazy, especially when you're talking about a 3-hour show like Raw. You know, you've got 3 hours of Raw, 2 hours of Smackdown, 2 hours of NXT, an hour of NXT UK, 30 to 40 minutes of 205 Live, as well as main event. You know, minimum 10 hours of original programming every week, and they're just letting so many of these people sit idle that it's ridiculous. And the reason for it is because, you know, they're signing people that they can't use, or they don't know how to use, or they don't know what to do with them. Okay, and just like I said a little while ago, accounting needs to be overhauled for WWE if this is truly because of budget cuts. Well, I'd say their creative needs the same kind of overhaul if they can't figure out what to do with some of the amazing talent that they've got on their roster. Okay, so those are the two departments that WWE needs to look at very hard. You know, not their talent, because they're definitely not lacking there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this whole spring cleaning, quote unquote, thing that WWE does every year, and they've been doing it for years. Don't get me wrong, this is not a surprise. It's not anything new, but it's crap, especially when they're saying it's because of budget cuts on the heels of signing $1 billion TV deal. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the hot take for this week. Just the, you know, WWE just needs to stop hoarding talent and inflating their roster to the point of people just sitting there idle. And one more thing about this, the 90-day no-compete clause is the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard in my life. No-compete clauses in general, in any industry, are trash, because you're preventing somebody from working, you're preventing them from making a living. And I don't care if they're still getting paid during those 90 days. That's not the point. You know, you are preventing someone from working, which is not okay. Okay? It may be legal. I'm not questioning the legality of it. I'm questioning the ethical and moral standpoint of it. It's garbage to tell somebody, well, you can't work for 90 days. Screw you. Try and enforce it. I dare you. You know, because honestly, it would probably get thrown out of any court if WWE tried to take any real action on it. But you know, it is what it is. They've been doing that forever too, and it's trash. But for somebody like Bo Dallas, who hasn't been on TV in almost 2 years, you know, WWE's excuse for these 90-day no-compete clauses. Well, we put all the time and money in to build them up and get their name out there. I'm sorry, how much time and money have you put into Bo Dallas? Let me answer that. The last 2 years, zero. Nothing. Since 2019. Okay, so in a case like that, the 90-day no-compete is a slap in the face. Now, by all accounts, I think Bo Dallas is probably done with wrestling, and who could blame him the way that he's been used and showcased in WWE, which is very sad because the guy comes from a great lineage, a great wrestling family. His father, Mike Rotunda, formerly known as IRS, one of the best in-ring competitors of his particular generation. Bo Dallas's real name, Taylor Michael Rotunda. If he was to go someplace else, he could just go by his real name, just the last name Rotunda. People are going to look at him and say, okay, let's see what this guy can do. He's at least going to get a chance, But I don't know. Like I said, the 90-day no competes are to somebody like Bo Dallas is a slap in the face when you already have not been working for almost 2 years. And, somebody like Chelsea Green, again, really, how much time and money has WWE put into doing anything with Chelsea Green? Her name is her own, and, they haven't, invested in any vignettes or major storylines or anything like that with her. Let these people freaking work. If you own the name that they're wrestling under, fine. They can't use that name anymore, fine. They had, their name on the indies prior to WWE. They can just go back to using that. So... it's just all around. These particular policies and ways of doing business by WWE, to me, are questionable at best, and at worst, completely immoral and unethical. But that's my opinion. If anybody out there thinks differently, you're entitled to that. If you think it's okay, hey, more power to you. I take issue with it. I'm sure a lot of other people take issue with it. I'm sure some of the wrestlers take issue with it. But you sign the contract, and that's pretty much what you get. So that's it for the hot take for this week, and that's pretty much going to wrap things up. Just want to remind everybody the 2 new shows starting on A&E this week. Tonight, actually, the A&E biography of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I guess this is going to be over the next 8 weeks or so. They're going to be profiling different WWE superstar every week on A&E biography. And then show I'm really interested to see, WWE Lost Treasures. I guess they're going to be looking for WWE memorabilia, trying to track down memorabilia from over the years and try to recover it, so to speak. So that should be a pretty cool show. That premieres tonight as well. So next week coming up, I will have my preview and predictions for Impact Rebellion. Of course, the main event of that one is the title unification match between Kenny Omega and Rich Swann. Cannot wait to see that. So I'll have the full rundown and preview and predictions of that coming up on next week's show. So with that, I want to thank everybody once again for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcast from. Make sure to check out CatchHookShoot.com, where you can get all the podcasts, all the videos, all the interviews, the Catch Hook Shoot shop, where you can get all your t-shirts and hats. Just go check it out. It's a pretty cool website. We've got the events listed there. The first night of the Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series is listed on the events page with a link to the Podbean live stream that we'll be doing. So make sure you check that one out. Make sure you're following on social media at CatchHookShoot on all platforms. Patreon.com/CatchHookShoot for bonus content. Subscribe to twitch.tv/CatchHookShoot, where you'll get watch parties every so often there for different wrestling videos and movies and stuff like that. And to ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot for exclusive t-shirts over there. And you can find all that and more on our Linktree, which is Linktree/CatchHookShoot, or scan this QR code in the corner of your screen if you're watching on YouTube. And if you ever want to drop me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the great wrestling coming up this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.